friends, by now most of you have already heard the news about Matt Hoover and Justin Ervin. A federal judge found the two guilty of conspiring to transfer unregistered machine gun conversion devices that they referred to as auto key cards. Additionally, Ervin was convicted of 7 counts of transferring unregistered machine gun conversion devices, 3 counts of possessing unregistered machine gun conversion devices, and 1 count of structuring cash transactions to avoid currency transaction reporting requirements. Hoover was also convicted of 4 counts of transferring unregistered machine gun conversion devices. Ervin faces a maximum penalty of 110 years in federal prison, and Hoover faces a maximum penalty of 45 years in federal prison. The sentencing will be held on July 31st of this year. Now, the structuring charge that was levied against Ervin is whenever you pull out $10,000 worth of money from your bank, your money from your bank. If it's $10,000 or more, you have to file a report. It throws up a red flag. In other words, somebody wants to know why you want $10,000 of your money. And because he was probably pulling out $9,999 or something right below that, but nevertheless, they're charging him with not liking the way he pulled out his own money. That's one of the charges. That shows you how frivolous this is, and that most of what they're doing here is simply sending a message. Because again, let's not forget, it's a little metal card with the lightning link etched out into it. That's all it was. It is no machine gun. And here we go again with the FBI implementing rules that will put people in prison and pushing unconstitutional things onto these people. Now, I thought this was a little bit fishy. According to testimony and evidence presented at the trial, in January 2021, Ervin's bank contacted the ATF to report that employees believed that Ervin was trafficking in machine gun conversion devices. Unless Ervin was bragging to the bank about how much money he was making off of these devices, which he didn't exactly get rich off of them, how did somebody at the bank draw that connection that that's what he was doing? Now, I guess they could have Googled his name and seen that he was somehow tied to these things. But what kind of rat at a bank would actually do that? This is the first I've ever heard of just some person at the bank ratting somebody else out on their actual personal business. Now, this prompted an investigation, and in February 2021, federal agents from ATF and the U.S. Postal Inspection Service surveilled Ervin and observed him dropping off dozens of packages at an Orange Park, Florida post office, each of which was determined to contain unregistered machine gun conversion devices. Now, another thing that I found a little bit fishy was from an article in Ammo Land that my friend John Crump wrote. It talks about how some of the witnesses said how they were convinced, so to speak, and I'm paraphrasing here, by Hoover's YouTube videos promoting Ervin's auto key card. That's how they felt the need to purchase them. But that's not the strangest one. The strangest one was that a final witness stated he was driving on a road when he heard automatic gunfire. He said he pulled over and found 3 men in a field. The men had 2 auto key cards. One was cut out and one wasn't. The men gave him both because they couldn't get them to work. This man is a machinist and figured he could use his skills to get the item to function. After hours of trying and failing, he threw away the cutout auto key card. When he saw the arrest of Ervin, he contacted a lawyer that arranged for him to turn it over to the ATF. Sounds completely believable, right? Remember, we're talking about a federal case here, so we have federal people involved here. No repercussions whenever they lie or make up stories. So this witness is driving down a little old country road, right? Just driving down some road, and they hear automatic gunfire. Now, it doesn't state in here whether or not this person knew the people with the automatic gunfire. But I don't know about you. If I'm driving down a road and I hear automatic gunfire, I'm not likely to pull over and walk out into a field in the direction of the automatic gunfire just to see what's going on. Doesn't seem real plausible to me. I find it really hard to believe that this is a credible witness. And then they just gave him the auto key cards. Again, it doesn't state in John's article whether or not all these guys knew each other. Maybe they did. But that's a key piece of information that's not in here if that is the case. Because again, who drives down a road, hears automatic gunfire, pulls over, stops, gets out, walks into the field, and says, "Hey, heard automatic gunfire, what's going on over here?" Now, a good portion of this information that I've shared is from the U.S. Attorney's Office online. I find that when the federal government knows that they're infringing upon honest, law-abiding people's rights and doing things that nobody else will approve of, in fact, doing things that a large majority of free Americans would not approve of, they always tend to somehow tag their efforts with the effort of being safe, of making somebody safer. In other words, you and I look at this as a victimless crime. There are no victims in this crime. There is nobody being murdered on the street with auto keycard modified AR-15s. That's not a thing. It's not happening. There is no evidence of that. You would have seen that overwhelmingly in this case if that were the case, but it's not happening. So most of us are reasonably thinking this is clearly a victimless crime, and you want to send a guy to jail for 100 and something years and another one to jail for 45 years for a federal crime? For a victimless crime? That's why at the end of this letter you see that they put, this case is part of Project Safe Neighborhoods, a program bringing together all levels of law enforcement and the communities they serve to reduce violent crime and gun violence and to make our neighborhoods safer for everyone. What a load of crap. They include this in there because by the time you get to the end of the story, you're scratching your head going, what's the crime? What's the crime? So they have to remind you, oh, we're doing this to prevent hypothetical crimes from happening that haven't happened yet, but they could happen later on. So this is part of a Project Safe, some kind of safe initiative that they have. That's when you know they're full of crap. That's when you know they know that they're full of crap.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
It's over!